Hey VC, I'm Brian, this is Shamrock'n Records, and I am here to make a video today as a response to J.Party's colored vinyl. Showing off our colored vinyl in our collection. I didn't realize that this was going to become a thing, so good job, Jeff. But Sean Zlock, his good friend, check out Sean's channel if you have not checked out Sean Zlock. He makes incredible videos. They're hilarious. So, and he's a good friend. He's very smart. He knows his stuff. He's got a hell of a collection. He's got over 6,000 records, and I can only imagine what it must look like, because the stuff he shows is really cool. So anyway, Jeff and Sean have started showing off a bunch of their colored records, and this morning I woke up, I went on YouTube, and I was just going through some of the people I've subscribed to, and Sean's Vinyl Corner popped up, and he had made a colored vinyl video in response. So I figured, you know what, this will give me a good chance to show off some of the records that I've never really been able to show, because, you know, I've only been making videos for less than a year now, and I've just had so much stuff in my collection prior. Most of my videos I do are recent finds, so I take the easy way out. I just make recent finds videos. So I've never really gotten a chance to show some of the other stuff I've had in my collection. So I tried making a couple videos prior to this, and they were erased. And it was so long, it would have been wicked boring. So I'm kind of glad that they got erased, and this is going to be my third try. I'm going to take some of the highlights, at least personal highlights, and just kind of show some of that stuff. And hopefully there's not going to be a lot of stuff that I've shown before, but there may be a couple things that I've shown before. But I wanted to show some of this colored vinyl that I got that's older. Some of my stuff from the 90s. I got like, I think I got 5 records here that are from the 90s that were pressed on colored vinyl. So to kick it off, Jeff, if you haven't seen his most recent video, showed how he just bought his very first Kiss record. Well, that kind of ties into this, because the very first colored record I'm going to show is a compilation of Kiss My Ass from 1994. If you guys are not familiar with this, I had this on CD when it first came out, and I was ecstatic when I finally found this on vinyl. Pretty recently, within the last few years. But what it is a bunch of bands that were pretty popular in the 90s that did their takes on Kiss tracks. So you got bands like Lenny Kravitz, Garth Brooks is on here, Anthrax, the Gin Blossoms, my personal favorite, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Dinosaur Jr., Extreme, the Lemonheads, the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. So they do their takes on Kiss records, and this is on colored vinyl from the 90s. So it's on beautiful red vinyl. Look at, there's the dad with the, you know, the Paul Stanley, and looks like mom is Gene Simmons. So pretty cool looking record, and you know, Toad the Wet Sprocket, which I know is they're my favorite band, blah blah blah. You're sick of hearing about it, but they do a cover of Rock and Roll All Night, and they do their not traditional, but they do their Toad sound, and they folk rock the hell out of it. Which, all in all, it's probably not the greatest cover of all time. I enjoy it, but they take this rock song and they just deflate it. But I enjoy it because it's Toad. But, yeah. Anyway, Kiss. Oh, I didn't say what I was listening to right now. I have shown this in a prior video. It's the newest old 97s. I'm playing this because it's on green vinyl. And because I've already shown this in a video earlier this year, I felt like I didn't need to show it. So I am spinning it. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite records of the year. Another 90s colored vinyl is from a favorite of mine, and I think I've mentioned them in prior videos, but it's the Indigo Girls, and this is Swampophilia, and this came out, I believe, in '94 as well. You know, this one had like their hit on this was Least Complicated, which got pretty big actually. But you know, back in the 90s, they didn't make a lot of vinyl, and so this was probably pretty limited. I don't know how many they pressed, but the cool thing is that it was pressed on green vinyl. All right. The even better thing is that they were all signed by Emily and Amy. So if you can see that, yeah, there you go. And it looks like Emily drew a little teacup over her name. But yeah, Emily and Amy signed all the copies of this record. So because of that, I would imagine they probably didn't make too many of these on vinyl. But this is a favorite of mine. Definitely up there for one of my favorite 90s records. So that, for me, is essential. Speaking of essential, for me, Toad the West Rocket. This is their second record. This is from 1990. It's called Pale. This is hands down one of my favorites. And this is on... This is on pale green vinyl. So, again, getting records from the 90s that were colored, it's tough. You know, records alone in the 90s are tough. Get them colored, pretty cool. I have shown this one in a prior video, but again, it's a 90s. It's a 12-inch single by Joe Satriani for the song Always With Me, Always With You. And it's kind of funny because I was showing my daughter earlier. She came down and she's like, "Oh, Dad, you're making a video?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm showing colored vinyl. So I pulled this one out, and I show her, and she's like, "Dad, that's not colored. Clear's not a color." I was like, smart ass. But it's cool because, look, you don't have to look at my face. Anyway, love this song. And this, I believe, is the very first colored vinyl I've ever, or non-colored vinyl I've ever got. I picked this up at a record show. When, you know, back in the 90s. So, I was either in high school. I was probably in high school. Maybe in like a freshman in college when I got that. But yeah. It's actually not in the 90s. 88. So yeah, I definitely got that when I was in high school. Let's see. Another one that is from the 90s. It's an EP by Ani DeFranco. And it's Little Plastic Remixes. This came out after Little Plastic Castles. And she's recently just reissued this. I saw it in a record shop, you know, recently. It just came out like this year or last year. She repressed it. And but this is original. And it's on light blue vinyl. So... pretty cool to have. Yeah, they're my 90s or older, you know. And let's see here. Next one I want to show. I've never shown this record. I don't know what year this came out, but it's indie folk rock super group. I don't know. It probably came out within the last 10 years. Forget what year this came out, but what it is, it's called Monsters of Folk, and this is made up of Connor Oberst and Mike Mogus from Bright Eyes. And then this down here is M. Ward from She and Him, and he has his own solo stuff. He's a phenomenal guitar player, if you haven't checked him out. And this here is Jim James from My Morning Jacket. He also went by Yim Yames for, I believe, a record or two. I don't know what he was doing. He kind of bugs me, to be quite honest. But anyway, I do enjoy him in this record. Really cool, and it is on a blue vinyl. So I don't know why I show both sides, because both sides are the same color. It would be interesting to find a record that was one color on one side and another color on the other, but I don't have anything like that, so I don't even know if that's possible to make. Speaking of supergroups, the next three bands that I'm going to show, their lead singers all got together a few years ago and made a supergroup called Middle Brother, and this isn't colored, but I just kind of wanted to show, this is just a 10-inch picture disc of Middle Brother. But this band is made up of John McCauley from Deer Tick, Taylor Goldsmith from Dawes, and Matthew Vasquez from Delta Spirit. So it's just kind of like a lead-in for the next couple records I was going to show. These bands are the bands that I enjoy. Current bands. This is the stuff I really dig. This indie folk rock. So I'll just show them. This is Deer Tick. This is Divine Providence. And this one here, they're a band from Providence, Rhode Island. And they released 500 copies of this one on green vinyl that you had to order from Partisan Records, from their label. And it's really cool. It's like this green swirl. And you can see Ian on the label. Ian's their guitar player. And Ian's on both sides. Ian actually used to be in a band called Titus and Andronicus. Don't think he's on that one. He was in Titus Andronicus before that. He's from punk band from like New Jersey. Then he met up with Deer Tick, and this record here is a little bit heavier than their stuff prior. This one's more like the Replacements. John McCauley's a big Replacements fan. Also a big Nirvana fan, but I don't really hear a lot of Nirvana. But they do play shows called like Deervana, where they do like Nirvana covers. I've never been to one of those shows. But a lot of their stuff prior to this record was a little more alt country. But this one's more rocking. Really cool record. Another one of the bands that were in Middle Brother, one of the artists, Matthew Vasquez, was the lead singer of Delta Spirit, who also likes colored vinyl. So, again, a clear record. I love the clear records. And on the cover, on the hype sticker, it says that this is called Coke Bottle Clear. So it's not just a normal clear, it's Coke Bottle Clear. Huh? Not Pepsi? Coke. So, and the last of those three bands, Dawes, Now this is an indie record store exclusive of Stories Don't End, and you can see it was hand numbered here, 297 of 500. The man did sign this, but it did not come signed. The indie exclusive was just the color. So it's on color vinyl. I did get a chance to go meet them, and they signed that. And I've met them a few times now, and they're just really cool guys. They seem really down to earth, happy to really talk to you and sign. And you know, I mentioned it before that when my daughter was 5, I brought her to go see Dawes, and they took pictures with her and were really cool. And Taylor like talked to her for a while, and they were just really, really good guys. So I love that band. Let's see. Here's one that was a Record Store Day exclusive from 2016, from last year, and it's another like indie folk band. This originally came out in 2006. It's the Weepies. And the Weepies consist of Deb Talon and Steve Tannen. So you got a male-female duo here. And their sound, to me, kind of reminds me of like Simon and Garfunkel. They got that really cool singer-songwriter, kind of like 70s vibe going on. Indie folk, it's just really cool stuff. Easy, relaxing, melodic. Their voices work really well together. And like I said, this was a Record Store Day exclusive. They made 500 of them on this really cool orange vinyl. And it's the only time this record's been pressed on vinyl. And I needed it. It's a classic record for me. You may know the song World Spins Madly On. It was on a soundtrack, one of those Zach Braff movies. I don't remember what movie it was. Whether it was Garden State, one of those movies. But that song was on a soundtrack, along with, I believe, a song from this record, which is also on orange vinyl, and it's Colin Hay's Man at Work. Colin Hay was the lead singer of Men at Work, so he does some of his Men at Work songs on here, like Stripped Down acoustic, Down Under's on here, Who Can It Be Now, Overkill, but like the greatest songs on here for me are Beautiful World, Waiting for My Real Life to Begin, just really pretty stuff, and it's just as pretty as this. Is that upside down? I can't. It is upside down. There we go. But yeah, Colin Hay, great songwriter. Let's see, another one here. I don't think I've ever shown this before. It's from 1995. This is Bjork's Post. I think she put this out in 2016. She put out a bunch of her early records, and they all came out on like different color vinyl, and this is on this really cool pink. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Let's see. I want to show at least a couple more of these. Let's see. So this next record, I don't think I've ever shown either. It is one of my favorite summer records. It's something that I spin all the time in the summer because I just think it's really like chill, and it's a copy of Chris Isaak's Forever Blue. This is a beautiful record. I don't know his catalog very well. I know a couple of his records. This one here in particular just takes the cake for me. I love this record. And, you know, Forever Blue on Blue. So, needed that in my collection. Another one that I've wanted, like, an original of this, but I know I'll never find it. And if I do, it'll be too expensive. The Remains. Just classic garage rock from the 60s, from Boston. I don't think I'll ever find a copy of this. So this is a record store day on white vinyl. So I needed that in the collection. Absolutely fantastic. Anybody that likes garage rock and does not know them, check out The Remains. Okay, let's see. I'm going to show one more. I'm going to show one. Empire Records. Love this movie. Love this soundtrack. Again, it's very similar to that Kiss soundtrack. Because it's got bands like the Gin Blossoms. It's got Toad the Wet Sprocket. It's got Evan Dando from the Lemonheads. And it's on this gold vinyl. And so that's some of my... I have yay more plus another stack over here. I can't show them all. I can show Fishbone. It's on red. Want to see that? It's pretty. You know, how about the Hold Steady, Heaven is Whenever. This is pretty cool. This was a record store day release before they issued their the actual version of the record. So this was an advanced record store day copy. Ryan Adams Gold, but it's not on gold. What the hell? Ryan Adams Gold on clear vinyl. You know, is that supposed? Maybe he is a smart ass. The label's silver, so it's gold on silver. Okay, I guess I can deal with that. All right, here's a band I've never shown. I want to show this record because I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to show this on the VC or when I'll get an opportunity to show this band. This band is called Rad Key. All right, this band. When I heard this band, they sound like the Misfits. All right, and then you find out that I believe when this was recorded, I think it's a trio of kids. They're like 16 years old, 3 little black kids, and they tear it up. I love this. This is really cool. I mean, it's a little black kid who sounds like Glenn Danzig. I mean, he is awesome. I don't think there's a picture of the band, but it's on this red vinyl. This is just a 4-song EP, and I need to get more of their stuff. This is called Devil Fruit. Again, Rad Key. You like the Misfits? You like Danzig? Check this out. Really, seriously. It's little kids, man. It's awesome. It came out a few years ago. Let's see. I know Sean showed a couple 7-inches on his, so I'll show a couple of mine. And going back to like Dawes and all those guys, I want to show, I've never shown Johnny Corndog. Johnny Corndog does some really cool country music, all right? He's funny. He's a singer-songwriter. You can see Johnny signed it for me. But if you look at this cover, all right, you recognize the other guys in that cover. This is Taylor Goldsmith again from Dawes. This is his brother, Griff. So this is his backing band on this record is Dawes. So just kind of wanted to show that, and it is, you know, uncolored, like this grayish color. Another cool little 7-inch that I got was a record store day release a few years ago now, 2013. Old 97s with Waylon Jennings It's a gatefold 7-inch, which I'll be honest, I've never taken the shrink off, so I've never even opened up the gatefold. So, and I'll be honest, I never listened to the first record on this. The first record is the old 97s and Waylon Jennings together. I never realized that it was the two of them together. I always just thought it was Waylon Jennings on one and the old 97s on the other. So I've only listened to the old 97s one. And I bought this because of the song. And if you're a Rhett Miller fan, the song Fireflies. Now, that song's been released on one of Rhett Miller's solo records, but it was never released as an old 97s song. This was a demo, I believe from 96, a 1996 demo of Fireflies by the old 97s. So, I needed this because that's one of my favorite Rhett songs. I got one of those side-by-side 7-inch. It's pink, brass buttons, Graham Parsons, and then on the back side is the Lemonheads. So the Lemonheads and Graham Parsons doing brass buttons. I really should stop, but I got some other cool stuff. You know I love the Pogues. The Pogues, they made 500 of these on green vinyl. Celtic Ska EP. My last video, I talked about Freddie Johnston, or 2 videos ago, I talked about Freddie Johnston. I mentioned, excuse me, Stella is backing up. I mentioned the Freddie Johnston 7-inch on light blue vinyl. Well, here it is. Freddie Johnston doing Bad Reputation with Death Cab for Cutie on the B-side. And another cool colored vinyl was the outtakes from Either Or by Elliott Smith, and this is on like this yellowish, I think it's like a pale yellow. Yeah, it's like this cool pale yellow. It looks like mustard kind of. So yeah, I wanted to show those, and you know what? It's 27 minutes. Shut me off. But if you want to stick around for one more, I'm going to show a Christmas record. So if you don't want to see a Christmas record, just shut it off. But that Christmas record is Mr. Hanky, his Christmas classics. And it's on poo colored brown vinyl. And it's scented. It's scented. Look at that. On scented poo brown colored vinyl. So there you go. All right, that's enough. Take care, VC. I had fun doing this, Jeff. And yeah, anyway, cheers.